Wolfpack, what is going on? It's your boy, the Wolf of RushStreetJournal.com. We breed and feed you fantasy wolves here with your Week 10 sit starts bright and early yet again. We had a killer 8 a.m. last time. We ended up with like 60 people in here. Great questions coming in throughout the morning. And maybe people just want to get their day going and don't want to sit around waiting for the Wolf and CJay over here all day because we're holding them hostage. So maybe we could just cater to the people and start this 8 a.m. thing more often. But certainly when there's a Germany game, our Patriots are playing in just an hour and a half. We want to make sure to get in, get out, but still be able to see you guys. What's that?
Speak for yourself, not our Patriots.
Yeah, who knows if I'll actually end up watching this garbage game. But either way, we know some of you will want to watch it. And you might even have some questions related to it, given that Demario Douglas questionable, likely to play. Josh Downs, have we got an official word yet on Josh Downs, whether he's playing or not today?
No, but I'll get on that right now.
Yeah,
I know there was a tweet about him last night, but I didn't.
Yeah, it seemed like he was trending the wrong way, but I don't know if there's been any official news. So we will rip through the news real quick, guys. I'm not going to do a Thursday night recap because we want to make sure. Last week we didn't end up actually getting able to answer every single question we got. So ultimately I want to do this a little bit quicker. The Thursday night game, there's no recap anyways because there's nothing to learn. Two garbage teams doing garbage things. I'm going to probably hate cut Chuba Hubbard. That's about it. Like your volume plays at running back. I think the one takeaway just as an overall lesson is like, sure, volume is a running back's a volume-driven position, but you still need team quality, and you still need actually quality talent yourself if you're really going to have any meaningful ceiling. And Chuba has neither team quality or any quality himself. So that blew. That sucks. I have a nice 4.0 point in my lineup. You just have to sit and stare at that all day, all weekend. Ugh, it's hideous. So yeah, that's my only takeaway. Screw Chuba Hubbard. Screw the Panthers. Bryce Young sucks. They're horrible. Week 10 quarterback news. Kyler Murray.
I do have a quick one for Josh Downs. Schefter did say he's expected to play today.
Wow, so that's a turnaround because he was the other day trending the wrong way. So, that's going to make things a little tricky and interesting. And I will have to update my rankings. You said he's expected to play, huh?
Yeah, but the team could be cautious in how much it uses him. So that's
okay. So I got to get Josh. Oh, okay, but yeah, so that does change things though for sure. The cautious with how they use him is probably enough for me to not play him.
Another update, he is playing.
He is playing. So he's officially active, is Josh Downs. So I'm just going to push through. I had to get him at least into my rankings here. But with that nugget that like they're going to be cautious, we saw last week it flared up in a quarter. I really would not want to be playing Josh Downs. Like I'm looking right now in like the Jameson Williams and like Juju Smith on the other side of the ball. I'd probably go to Juju ahead of him is how I'd play this. And I don't like that, but 7 targets last week. He's an okay bet for volume. So that means I'd be playing guys like Odell Beckham, certainly Noah Brown, who's out there in a ton of leagues. And you guys can let us know if you have questions. But with Nico Collins, we're going to cover that in a second out. There's definitely some options here that you don't have to go to Josh Downs. It's my overall read on that. Let us know if you guys feel differently or if you have a sit start involving. But just know like Noah Brown is the bar, and he's out there in pretty much every league. So I would play Noah Brown 10 out of 10 times over Josh Downs today. So let us know in that sense. We're going to now bang through the rest of this news. Wolfpack, thumbs up button does greatly help us. Of course, any super chats to help CJay buy a new laptop, to get me a new camera, whatever it might be, where we've got the tech that we're trying to upgrade here and continue to improve the show. So it does greatly. It goes such a long way, but also you get to cut the line too. So if you want to do that, by all means, but please come on in, get settled in, get those questions on in, and let's go. So quarterback news, Kyler Murray is going to be playing today, officially activated. And to me, in a week where we've got so many quarterbacks on bye, Tua, Pat Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, banged up Matt Stafford in some lineups and some places too. People are going to be scrambling for quarterbacks. I wrote about quarterback streamers this week because it's such a high pressing topic. I certainly prefer Josh Dobbs. He's my number 1 quarterback streamer. Will Levis would be my number 2. Baker Mayfield's my quarterback 14. But I have Kyler Murray above all of those guys other than Josh Dobbs. He's my quarterback 12. So a QB1 for me this week, fresh off the injury. It's going to be a bit of a risk. Is he shaking off rust? Is he going to be getting as many designed runs as we've seen in the past? Likely the answer is no for that. But even still, he's gotten it done as a passer in the past. This is a guy that's never finished lower than quarterback 8 in terms of full season average points per game, and more often is in your top 5. There's a ridiculous ceiling here for Kyler Murray. It certainly raises up Trey McBride, Marquise Brown, who was the wide receiver 7 last year with Kyler Murray on the field and no DeAndre Hopkins. So definitely a good, interesting week for the weapons here. It's still risky. So if you have Kyler Murray questions, like, for example, Kyler Murray or Sam Howell, I'd probably go Sam Howell. We've seen it get done all but 1 week so far this year. You can watch him shake off the rust. And sure, if Kyler comes out there and lights it up for 30, my apologies for getting it wrong, but also you can feel good knowing I have Kyler Murray moving forward. But still, at quarterback 12, there's a good chance you might be just thrust in your lineup. I do have Kyler over Geno Smith, if that gives anybody else out there a measuring stick. So let us know. Kyler Murray questions, if you got any. Toss those in there. That might be, I don't know if we can edit the YouTube title, CJ, on the fly here, but Kyler Murray, I bet we're going to get some questions for it. Might get some more people in here. So consider if you can do it easy, but if not, don't worry about it. I don't know if that would throw off the whole broadcast if we edit the title right now. But I think hit him over Dobbs.
I think I've done it before. Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. All righty. And then in week 10 running back news, there's really no other quarterback news. Again, given so many buys here. Any other news would involve Tommy DeVito. Yeah, you want to start Tommy DeVito. Actually, I am in our dynasty league. That's how dire it's gotten in those streets. Torn Achilles for Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones torn ACL. All three of my normal quarterbacks have been completely toasted. So, yeah, I am actually running out Tommy DeVito. It's sad. There's nothing about that.
Are we gonna pour one out for your boy Daniel Jones? Is that
I guess there's no bouncing back at this point, huh?
You can use that as an excuse now. Hey, he tore his ACL.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, his injury, he wasn't going to suck all year. It was his injury. I wasn't wrong. The process was right. All right. Running back news. David Montgomery, he's off the injury report. He will play. It'll be interesting to see because last time out, Jahmyr Gibbs looked one like the best player on the field, but one of the best running backs in the league. He was flying all over the place, flashing the second best speed in the class behind only Devon Achane. So it will be can the toothpaste go back in the tube? Yeah, I actually think it will with this type of Lions backfield. We know how they want to use their back. Gamble did mention, it's going to be tricky to not get Gibbs more touches moving forward. He's always honest about that stuff. But we also know they do want to bludgeon their opponent with David Montgomery, certainly if they have a lead, definitely when they're in the red zone. So to me, Montgomery's still right back into your top 10 running backs. I get that right now his yardage ceiling is probably going to take a hit, but you were using him for his touchdown equity anyways, and he scored a touchdown in every single game he's made it through this year. We got that game with 3 touchdowns fresh off his injury last time. So I have no qualms about getting David Montgomery right back into my lineup, but it will be interesting to watch how this ends up playing out with Jahmyr Gibbs, who also I think should be in lineups regardless. Cardinals activated James Conner from injured reserve, and DeMarcado is out behind him. So, yeah, you'd think they might want to ease him in and get his feet wet. But honestly, they don't have no really other options. You can't go to Keontae Ingram, the worst running back in the NFL. And starting the year, James Conner played over 70% of snaps in every single game. We had some 90% snap games in there. He was the definition of a bell cow featured back. And I was joking and laughing ahead of the show. John Gannon had an interview where he's like, yeah, he actually looks better than he did before getting hurt. And I have no idea what he means by that. It's kind of idiotic. But also, Conner was playing at the best level of his career. So even if he looks like that, we're talking about a guy that was a top 15 running back, top 12 in over half his games to start the year because of the volume. And now he gets Kyler Murray back too. So potentially even better offense overall, a less mobile Kyler Murray. So the one rub with Conner was when Murray played, his touchdown equity went down. But if they're not going to be running Kyler Murray at the stripe and just giving Conner those chances, I think you can absolutely get him back into the lineup against the Falcons. So, yeah, I like James Conner a lot as a quality running back, too. If you got questions on him, of course, let us know. The Cardinals are kind of the bigger questions of the day, but certainly a guy that I think is viable. Kenneth Walker, a full participant in Friday's practice, so he will play. It's less about is he going to be out there, and it's more about do you want him in your lineup after back-to-back duds, after seeing less snaps than Zach Charbonnet in 2 straight weeks. Ken Walker's becoming a much bigger risk. I still think this seems like a nice bounce back spot for the entire team. The Seahawks, I think they're going to destroy the secondary. So it's definitely a game I'd much rather play the pass catchers, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. I have JSN rolling where I have him. I think he's in a great spot. Led the team in receiving yards and catches last week. JSN, the breakout's happening, and I'm so pumped to be a part of it. I bought low where I could. I know you wrote an article, right, CJ? Buy low while we still can. Like that one's looking pretty sexy on JSN.
I know the other wideouts aren't doing much this year.
I know. So it could be primed and ripe for the takeover here. I mean, it was last week. He saw the most targets, the most catches, the most yards. It could be the true break. We haven't had that monster day yet, but it could be coming. So I'm a big JSN fan. I know this was all about Kenneth Walker. It's more so I think they're going to have no problem moving the ball. And what we've seen with Walker is he does get the touchdowns. They love to run in the goal line, and he's great there. So I still have Walker as a top 12 to 15 running back this week. There is some more risk, though, with Charbonnet playing as much as he is. If this game does get out of the right game flow, it could get ugly for Walker quick. So there's a little bit more risk baked into where I rank him this week, but still a guy that's probably in most lineups. We've gotten some good questions about Walker, though, throughout the week. So definitely let us know if you have one on him, because he's not the lock button play he was for those first 7 weeks of the season. Keaton Mitchell, expected to play. The hottest waiver wire pickup of the week. The RSJ putting us on his back in the month of October. Every time we write about him, he just shoots to the top of the rankings for us, which we love. So thank you, Keaton Mitchell. I think he handmade us $1,000 on his article this year. So we love that. That will definitely get us a new computer there. So thank you, Keaton Mitchell, for those CJ laptop fund. But in general, too, I love this kid. He just like eyeball test wise, he was a step above everyone else on the NFL field. And it's very rare you get that type of speed, certainly in the run heaviest offense in the league. 52% of the time they run the ball, most rush yards in the league, tied for the league lead in rushing touchdowns. This is as fertile of a run environment as you could ask for. And now we're putting game-changing speed back there. They talked about elevating his role a bit throughout this week, too. It's a little tricky to trust him right away because he did only play 17% of the snaps, 23% of the touches. Like the role was not huge. But on 9 touches, he was the running back 6 in fantasy, too. It is a bit Devon Achane in terms of this is a really good offense, in particular, a very good run game with a special talent, a special speed. He's still out there in 50% of leagues, too. So at the end of the day, whether you're going to play him or not, you have to go pick this kid up, stash him on your bench. I cut Josh Downs, for example, just to stash him and see what happens, because it was one of those things. Downs might get into my lineup in a bye-week crunch, and he's really good. I love Josh Downs, but it's a shallower league, a shallow bench. So I wanted to make sure to go out and get Keaton Mitchell. So if you have him, let us know. Maybe you will play him this week. I just love the player. Am I crazy? What do you think about Keaton Mitchell? I know he's one of the 100-button topics today.
Yeah, I do like the HN comp. He is. I don't know if he's going to end up being there every down back. I think it's still going to be a mess the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
But he's not fighting up against like these elite talents. Even though Gus Edwards just continues to like put up like NFL records every week.
Yeah, be careful slandering Gus Edwards, who's behind only like Barry Sanders in yards of carry.
But no, I think he is a good potential flex play. Of course, if Gus ever get hurt, he'd have a huge role, and he's someone I'd definitely stash the rest of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. At minimum, stash him, see what you got there. That wraps up our running back news. Before we continue on to wide receivers, we did have a super chat. Thank you, David Campanelli, for catching this for us. Always doing the best work behind the scenes, helping us mod. What do we got for FC Ware? Thank you so much for the support here, FC Ware.
So FC Ware is asking, who would you bench out of these 3? DK, JSN, or Tank Dell?
Oh, man. So I know I was just kind of hyping JSN up as like he's taking it over. This really could be the true breakout. I still think so. I got to play Tank Dell. No Nico Collins, over 20 fantasy points in well over half the games. He's made it through 80% or more of the snaps. I love Tank Dell. You cannot bench him. Then it comes down to Metcalf versus JSN, which Seattle receiver I'd rather have. That's really tricky. The only thing I'm looking at here is like, what if they do? The Commanders have been such an idiotic secondary all year. They put Emmanuel Forbes on A.J. Brown all game, and we see what happens, 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. They try to put a 5'8" corner on DK Metcalf and man coverage all game, which, again, you're like, obviously they won't do that, Wolf. They're not idiotic. They did it to A.J. Brown, another physical specimen. They had shadow coverage with a 5'8" shitty corner. So, I mean, that potential exists, and if that happens, like that, this is where you do get that Metcalf, like, 182 touchdowns. It happens once or twice a year. It really feels like this could be the spot. So I am, as much as I love JSN, I'm going to go Metcalf and Tank Dell here and hope that the idiot Commanders remain idiot Commanders and shadow him with Forbes. Do you feel any differently, CJ? Yeah. Are you officially?
No, I'm right with you. I know it sucks to bench JSN, but have to go with DK as of now, and then Tank is locked in the lineup. So.
Yeah. The one thing I will note on this one too is I was reading some beat writer speculation that Metcalf might be a bit more banged up than anyone really knows, anyone's really leading on, and he's kind of just gutting out some injuries that are really making him not Metcalf. This will be a really good measure of that, because if he can't get it done here, I don't know that we can trust him again this season. So at least not until we see him fully get right. So this is the definition of the blow up spot for Metcalf. If he can't get it right here, it's kind of like what we said on Thursday night with Foreman. Like, if Foreman doesn't do it in this setup, when would he ever do it? And he did it. He delivered, 18 fantasy points, had a nice day. I know you were, 8 yards away from hitting a juicy parlay over there, of course.
Like
As always. Of all the ones that didn't hit you, Thielen, that seemed
the
like
the one that was like.
I was thinking of, at the end of the game. Come on, just one catch for Thielen, one time. Oh, damn. Just pain. But FC Ware, we're good. Just going Metcalf, and then we're going Tank Dell. You can't bench Tank Dell today. All righty, guys. That brings us to wide receiver. And at the top end, thank you again so much for the super chat, FC Ware. If anybody else wants to cut the line, that's the way to do it. Our guy Campanelli's watching for that. The free way to help us out, though, is that thumbs up button. Last week, you guys were so generous, hitting that early, sharing it out, liking, retweeting. We got 60 people over here, got a huge mailbag. It was such a blast to kick off our Sunday morning that way. And it was really thankful to you guys for getting us out to more people and helping the show grow that way. So keep the questions coming in. It definitely helps us grow. But, of course, that thumbs up button, like, shares, retweets, all that good stuff. We'll be on to those questions in just a few more minutes. There's not as many news nuggets here on the receivers and certainly on the tight ends. But Jefferson did not get activated. They did say they're going to play it slow here, make sure he's 100%. That's not a surprise. We are still awaiting word on KJ Osborne, but it seems unlikely. He's in the concussion protocol. We've only had one player, Brock Purdy, actually be in the concussion protocol and then clear it that same week. And ultimately, it just didn't seem like he was really even fully concussed by the end of that whole process. So I do think he will be out there, out in terms of not on the field. KJ Osborne, we know Jefferson won't be there. So Dobbs won't have his necessarily full stack of weapons, but hey, Jordan Addison, true wide receiver, one volume coming his way. Dobbs, we've seen sustain Marquise Brown as a top 24 wide receiver in 60% of his games so far this year. So I think Jordan Addison right back to the well there, happy to play him. And just the offense is just generally a lot better. I think I said it in the quarterbacks. I just am a huge fan of Josh Dobbs. If you need a quarterback this week and you're trying to figure it out, I did write about it on the site here. I love the guy. I think he could have a league-winning type of stretch run here. So if he's somehow still out there, whether you're blocking your opponents, that's why I picked up Will Levis. I had Josh Allen, but I could see Will Levis having a nuclear stretch, and I don't want my opponents using him against me. So I just because I don't need a quarterback because I have Josh Allen. In redraft leagues, it does make sense to sometimes block your opponents and things of that nature. So Dobbs would definitely fall under that, in my opinion. Diggs was removed from the injury report. He had a limited session this weekend. People were getting a little nervous about him, but he's off the injury report at this point. So obviously you're firing up. He's my number one receiver of the week. This one was more of a surprise. Nico Collins not playing against the Bengals. He didn't practice this week, so I guess it shouldn't be as huge of a surprise. But ultimately, Robert Woods will be back. This does seem to me like it should go all the way to Tank Dell, but then you could just see Noah Brown, who has actually led the team in receiving in back-to-back weeks. He becomes a much more viable streamer because I do think Nico Collins, he's very impressive this year. He's definitely played at a level I did not know Nico Collins had in him. I still don't think he's like a special, ridiculous, elite talent by any means. I think more so it's CJ Stroud's kind of unlocking the ceilings of everyone here because he is special. He is ridiculous. So whoever isn't thrust into big roles here, who's ever going to be the one seeing 20 to 25% target shares are going to be fantasy viable. And that does make, in my opinion, that's going to be Noah Brown, again, who's led the team in receiving yards back-to-back weeks. Obviously, Tank Dell probably going to get showered with 25% of the targets. We'll see how he handles number one attention from defenses. I also think Dalton Schultz, though. I mean, I got to bump him up in my tight end rankings because with no Nico Collins, he should see about a 25% target share. He's actually behind in the last 6 weeks. Only Travis Kelce in expected fantasy points among tight ends, and I believe only like 3 other guys like Taysom Hill and TJ Hockenson in actual fantasy points at the position. Dalton Schultz has been a monster these last again, he had a dud first 2 weeks, and then we've just seen the Dalton Schultz show. They really just committed to him as the every down tight end. I don't know why it took that long, but they have. So Dalton Schultz, if you have a question on him, let me know. But 9 out of 100 out of 101 is probably going to be Dalton Schultz. Really, really huge fan of him and his price tag on DK as well today. Last couple notes on receivers are Deebo Samuel's off the injury report. To me, he's in. You got to play Deebo Samuel if you have him. They play a ton of zone coverage, and that's what he absolutely dominates. And they're just not good, the Jags in general. All 3 receivers for the Seahawks are off the injury report. All 3 are in play. Obviously they're better when one is out and you have a more condensed target share, but good matchup for 3 great talents. It's a good spot for all of them. Michael Wilson is expected to play. Now, I don't think you want to necessarily trust Michael Wilson this week, but I would love to stash Michael Wilson. Let's see what he does with Kyler Murray back. This offense fully healthy finally. I love the kid. He really made some plays passing the eyeball test-wise, Michael Wilson. So I'm very intrigued to see what he does with Kyler. I don't want to start him if I don't have to, but just something to keep in mind if you have some space on your bench. I love stashing him and to see how he clicks with his new quarterback here. And then Curtis Samuel expected back. We know they do target the Commanders. They slot at the 5th highest rate in the league. Samuel's had some really big days. I don't think you have to get him in there, but the Seahawks have definitely improved these past few weeks with the 2 healthy corners. They started the year as the best matchup for all wide receivers. Now they're really, really locking down outsides. The slot's not an amazing spot for them, but it's where you can get it done. So maybe you look at Curtis Samuel if you're desperate. But again, Noah Brown. There's guys out there that I'd rather go to for sure. And then Michael Thomas put in the patrol car. I don't know if you saw this story last night, CJ. Little pilot smashing a contractor's car for knocking someone's hand. I don't know. It's a whole weird story. He ended up getting, put in the car. And
lost a brick through someone's window.
What'd you say?
He threw a brick through someone's window.
Yeah, through his windshield. Crazy. So definitely the hot-headedness is coming out here. But he's going to actually play this week, so who knows? Maybe it's the new type of narrative is smash and windshield game. You come out and just smash the defense right after. Who knows? We were hoping not to play Michael Thomas at this point. Zay Jones is also out, keeping those other guys very relevant. I have no tight end notes. The only defensive note was Jair Alexander. He's not going to go on the IR, but he's certainly going to miss this week. Rasul Douglas also out after he got traded. So now we got both their starting corners down for the Packers, which means I really do like Deontay Johnson, even George Pickens today in pretty good spots. All righty, that wraps up all our news. We had another super chat, huh?
Yeah. So
thank you so much, FC. I really appreciate it.
Once again, thank you for the $5. Hopkins, Ayuk, and Pittman. He needs 2 of these.
All right. So for those ones, I can see why this is a tough question. They're all very similar tier to me. Oh man, and they're all in pretty good matchups here. With Downs back, Pittman is going to fall a little bit in my rankings. So I have a little bit of re-ranking I need to do after the show today. We'll be back. It's just like flash for a second. Man, these guys are all like top 13 guys for me this week. Part of me wants to say, like, I'm re-looking at my rankings here. Ayuk's in a really good spot, but Debo's back. I can't bench Hopkins right now, given that he's getting such a crazy target share from Will Levis. Gets a team allowing the second most points to wide receivers. We just saw give up 470 yards and 5 touchdowns through the air. I'm keeping Hopkins locked in there. So it comes down to Pittman and Ayuk for me. And I mean, Pittman hasn't had below 15 fantasy points in like 4 straight weeks, whereas Ayuk's been a little bit more up or down, certainly has the bigger ceiling of all these guys. 30-point day on his resume, multiple 20-point days this season, playing at an elite level. I love Ayuk. It's not a matter of talent here, but part of me worries about him the most here. I think I go Hopkins and Pittman. What about you, CJ?
I think I'm going to go Hopkins, Ayuk.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're 9, 10, and 11 in my rankings. Like, they're all in the same tier. They're 9, 10, and 11 legitimately in that exact order. But I have it as Hopkins, Pittman, and Ayuk after the latest update I'm going to run. I think FC Wales is one of those situations. They're all good. They're all good options. I don't think any of them are going to truly bust on you. I think the lowest of the floors is Ayuk, despite probably having the highest ceiling of everyone here too.
I'd probably rank them how it's written.
Yeah, Downs getting activated today, shockingly, it has me a little bit. Maybe I do go Ayuk over Michael Pittman, but Pittman has just been so steady. The Pats' corners suck, but that game also could have some real fun shootout potential. The Jags versus the Niners. Yeah, I think I am going to go Hopkins, Ayuk. This is a really good question, FZ Ware. That's why we're kind of stuck here. On the second half of that, I do just go Douglas. I don't want to risk. I know he was questionable under the game too, but he seemed a lot less questionable than Downs here. And they have no one else to throw to. He did lead the way last week, tying Juju Smith-Schuster in target share. But they're actually the Commanders very good against the slot, whereas Douglas against the Colts this week, a good spot, faster paced team, more plays to potentially be run. I like Douglas today. What about you on Douglas over Downs?
Yeah, I'm not going to trust Downs after last week. Douglas, I know he was banged up, but I'm not. I feel like it's going to be boring. It's going to probably be like 6 for 70. Hopefully, maybe it's maybe his first touchdown. He's doing the Jacoby Myers where he doesn't score for his first season plus. But I'm gonna probably go Douglas there and just be safer, especially in full PPR.
Right. Thank you so much, FZ Rare. We do greatly appreciate your support of the site with that. Hopefully we can help get it right. Great question, too. Again, you had us in a pickle there. No clear answer on those first 3 wide receivers. Final call, though, I would say Ayuk and Hopkins would be my play. So why don't we pull in our call-in for the morning. Mr. Campanelli, how are we doing today, brother?
Good morning, boys. How you doing?
Very good, very good.
So, Wolf, this is a piggyback off of Thursday, but are we going Murray or Purdy at QB? And then there's another one for this league as well. So,
all righty. I personally still go Purdy. I like the matchup. The Jags is a bottom 10 team, great in terms of points allowed to the quarterback position. It just feels safer and more secure and, fresh off 360 yards last time out. I really like Purdy. He's cooking right now. The ceiling, sure, a little lower than Kyler Murray, but the floor significantly higher, in my opinion. So I go Purdy over Murray. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, it's a little safer. I don't know. I like Kyler a lot this week. I can easily see just like a 20-point bomb from him. But Purdy, if you just want to be safe and boring, just pick the boring white guy, and you can go with him.
I like the safe and boring here. I understand, though. If you want the jolt and you want to just have Kyler Murray's in my lineup today, that is more exciting. There's no doubt about that. But I think Purdy's in a good spot. He's a sneaky upside to him, too, if that game starts to hit its ceiling. And they're such a pass funnel defense, the Jags, that I think Kyle Shanahan will attack them pretty righteously through the air today. So I'm liking that.
And then it's a full PPR league. Would you run Shakir out or Noah Brown at wide receiver?
I think I'm going Noah Brown with Nico Collins out. I'm gonna update the rankings right now. Let me just with no Nico Collins, Noah Brown's gonna go up to my wide receiver. I don't think I can put him above JSN. But ahead of Jacoby Myers, yes. Ahead of Jerry Jeudy, probably. Which is, again, Jerry Jeudy versus Noah Brown. My God. Certainly ahead of Quentin Johnson. So I think he's going to slide in here right around. I'd probably even have him ahead of John Dotson, who's had these huge weeks these last few weeks. Wide receiver 33 for me. I'm bumping down Demario Douglas as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm high on Noah Brown. I'm probably deadly last words there, but he settles in right around JSN, George Pickens, wide receiver 32 for me. Just a bit below Jordan Addison, Godwin, those kind of guys. So yeah, I'm in on Noah Brown this week, absolutely. And I'd definitely rather have him over Khalil Shakir for sure.
Okay, and then would you run Kareem Hunt or Charbonnet out?
I would go. Ooh, good one. I would go Kareem Hunt. I know Charbonnet's been getting more snaps, but it hasn't resulted in a ton of fantasy points quite yet. I would stick with Kareem Hunt there. Good red zone usage, good pass catching upside. So that's what I mean.
Yeah, awesome. I'm with you right now until Charbonnet really takes over.
And just to let you guys know, you got a super chat from Captain Quint.
All righty. We will hit that next. Thank you so much, Campanelli. Always good seeing you on the Sunday mornings. Best of luck today.
Thank you.
All righty. And we will pull in that super chat. Thank you, Captain Quint. Great to see you, brother. We will address that one now.
With the Eagles and the Dolphins.
Sorry, I think mine's
with the Eagles and the Dolphins on the bye week, he needs all the upside here. Are you going to go with upside Levis or upside Gino?
It's tricky because they both have a lot of upside today. Gino in the best matchup he's been in many, many weeks here. We'll pull that one up here. There it is. I have Levis higher. I do. I think it's tricky because Gino and him have similar ceilings, but Gino has a lot safer floor. Gino's also just kind of sucked all year. And so, I think there's a non-zero chance that if Gino comes out slow today, gets benched for Drew Lock. That's going to potentially happen at some point this year. So I actually kind of just going Levis and hoping that the Bucs D is as bad as they look. Now they have even more injuries. I get that the offense isn't never going to just be this bombs away attack. But let's say, first play of the game, Mike Evans catches a 50-yard bomb, and suddenly we're off to the races. We saw last week's game against the Texans. total for, I believe it was like 70 points last week. There's a world that happens. And there's also a world where it's an ugly bleed out clock and like 20 to 15 hideousness. But I don't know. I really, in terms of just talent wise, Levis looks amazing. Like just eyeball test wise, I love the way the kid throws. The amount of accuracy he can hit, like he's falling backwards and flicks the wrist. The thing just floats. Like I think he looks just genuinely good. Do you think I'm crazy with that, CJ? Like, in terms of like how we've seen Levis look so far, he just really passed the test for me.
Yeah, it's never been about like his arm talent or, I mean, it's his accuracy a little bit, but he does have an unbelievable arm. And some players are just better in the NFL than they are in college, which is weird. But CJ Stroud's kind of the same. Like, obviously, he was great in college, but some players they're just quarterbacks and they just want to drop back and throw dimes. They don't want to like rah and all that stuff that college is. So I think he's one of the players that could be better in the NFL than he was in college.
Yeah, I absolutely think the same. And I think this could be the coming out party. And Quint, it's just like you're excited if you have Levis in your lineup today more than Geno. Geno, the matchup's there. The weapons are certainly there. Is he there? Is he been figured out at this point? Because he really, if we look through his last, 6-7 games, I mean, really this entire season, Geno Smith, I'm just pulling up the game logs here. And I'm running a rankings update. This is much against the ECR. He's quarterback 8 in ECR. I'm -8 on Geno and the QBR. His last 7 games, 8, 13, 15, 16, and 4 points. He's been outside the top 15 quarterbacks for 5 straight weeks. It's bad. Actually, 6 straight weeks he's been outside. He's had 1 top 12 finish all year. And so, I mean, I know Will Levis's second game.
He's had 1 top 12 finish his whole career.
Yeah. Last year he was peppering. I mean, he was quarterback.
No, I mean like a season finish.
Oh, yeah.
He had that one fluke year that everyone was,
Exactly. The Cinderella story seems to be coming to a close there. Meanwhile, Will Levis, certainly more of an unknown, but 27 points in his debut, followed up with just 10. But again, Tampa Bay, second most points allowed to quarterbacks, just got destroyed, even more banged up secondary. You're going to need the game flow to go the right way, but we've seen that happen with the Titans in the past where it is usually ugly games, but we'll always get those random like 35-30 games against the Chiefs where the Chiefs are bombing their defense and they have to kind of respond. We've seen Tannehill monster days throughout his career there. So, I mean, I like Levis here. I honestly do. What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, especially with upside, I assume that he has an A.J. Brown or Tyreek Hill and maybe a Mostert or someone like that. But, I think in his situation especially, I'd go Levis. But I think I'd go Levis in general.
Yeah, I have Levis ranked higher. I gotta push that rankings update through so people can see those. But, we got another super chat. I'll wait till after that, and I'll make sure my rankings get up.
DK Mitchell, thank you for the 2. With Chase injured, how do you feel about that, by the way? Are you overly concerned? He said that he was 50-50. It seems like he's probably going to play, but I just hope it's not one of those T. Higgins situations where he's just running around being a scarecrow.
I know. We've seen him play with like broken ribs and still be productive. So I think Chase is the type of guy that can gut out an injury and really still be productive. It is definitely a concern. I think that's a good point. I don't know how I didn't have that in the injury news. The quote was he's truly 50-50 today to actually play. So it is sketchy. This is a tricky one too because you have some really good options here, DK Mitchell, that you could play it safe with. What is nice is like let's say you don't play Pittman, Tank Dell on the other side of that is a great option. That like if Chase gets shut down, sure you can just play Tank Dell. I don't think you're losing a ton by not going Mitchell, or Michael Pittman rather. Oh man, it's tricky. Because Houston's like an okay spot as well, like for wide receivers, but they're actually much worse against tight ends, and they're better against outside wide receivers too. And what if it flares up? What if he gets hurt in the beginning of the game? The other two just have such less risk. So then I think maybe I do just fire up Pittman. The only thing with that is like if you fire up Pittman and he's very, very mediocre, then you just have to sit there and wait for it. And I know that should not factor into your fantasy decision necessarily is like the pain that could cause. But then you're just sitting there waiting for 1 p.m. You're like, which one's going to blow up, Jamar or Tank? Because one of them, at least minimum, Tank and Chase, is going to have a huge day. This is a really tough question because you got the idea of like you have to get it in early because Pittman's there. Pittman's a really good option. Chase is, if healthy, the best option, obviously, far and away. But he's not healthy. He's actually 50-50 to play. Tank does a great pivot too. There's so many factors to consider here. CJ, help me wade through this one. What do you think on this?
I think I would just. I don't care about the Pittman thing. I think I would just wait until the 1 o'clock game since they're facing each other, and you can use if he's out. I'd feel fine with Tank.
Yeah, he practiced for a second straight day. Reading the tea leaves, he's got back-to-back practices in. I know they're saying he's 50-50, but he has gutted it out before, and like again, like a rib game, and put up like 25 points, 30 points, and then you have no T Higgins too, right? So it's like even more upside for Chase, assuming he's in there. At the end of the day, I think you don't do Pittman. He could have a nice game on Monday. I mean, on Germany game on Sunday morning here, but at the end of the day, it's not worth the upside of like if we get Ja'Marr Chase, looks amazing in pregame warmups, ready to go, give it his all. Then you have Ja'Marr Chase, no T Higgins, great situation, a decent matchup, certainly a game that could really shoot out. Burrow looks as good as he's looked all year by a mile, moving in the pocket, slinging it deep. Like that's all going to unlock a much better level of Ja'Marr Chase. So yeah, I think we wait this out because the gap between Pittman and Tank Dell is a lot less than, in my opinion. Like you can certainly live with Tank Dell as your backup plan. I bumped up Tank Dell right now. He's up to my, maybe you had a Garrett Wilson now, like wide receiver 12 for Tank Dell. He's right there. So I'm all in on Tank Dell. If Chase can't go, I think you're in a great spot. It's fine, but you want to wait out that upside, in my opinion. Yeah, so I think
so Schefter, like 10 minutes ago, said that they're hopeful that he'll play today. It'll come down to whether he can complete his pregame warmup.
Yeah, so
he's really hurt. It's just that seems like he's going to play. It's just that he's very hurt.
Yeah, there is the risk he takes a bad shot. He's done. Like we know that could happen, but I think at minimum you don't play Pittman. You can pivot to Tank Dell if it's not looking great in the pregame or they're worried about his ability to make it to the full game. Anything of that nature comes out, then pivot. But for right now, Chase, no T Higgins in a game that could shoot out. I like that. I got to go for that. It's you could get worried about not playing Ja'Marr Chase. You bench him, and then like nobody has 50-point upside other than like 3 people in the league, and Chase is certainly on that list. Imagine like if you benched him that game when he had the 50-point day in your fantasy finals because he had a little bit of a nagging injury the week before, got 0 points in the semifinals of fantasy leagues. And some people benched him, and then he had 60 points the next week. That's kind of what Ja'Marr Chase. Like you cannot, in good faith, have him on your bench unless we get any words that he's like truly going to be out and hurt. So yeah, DK, I think you got to go with Chase. You probably were here like hoping for someone to push you to that, and we will. You got to go for Chase as long as he is fully ready to go. Tank Dell, a nice pivot if need be. Good receivers though. I mean, like you can't get anything for any of these guys like that. That's impressive.
Okay, Scott, full PPR, Purdy or Dobbs? Not that PPR.
So matters. I don't think the PPR matters for quarterbacks typically. I don't think these guys will be catching any of the rocks. But this is another one similar like Kyler Murray versus Purdy that Campanelli was asking earlier. The ceiling is with Dobbs. I mean, back-to-back 25-point days. Now he actually knows his teammates and the playbook, and who knows how that's going to go. Kevin O'Connell's a great play caller. He's definitely going to scheme things right for Dobbs here. I still lean Purdy. I think that I know it's unexciting, but the Jags – top 5 in terms of points allowed to QBs, the clear definition of a pass funnel, a great run defense, a horrendous pass defense. I love Purdy in that type of setup. He's got all his weapons back, and they've been very limiting to running backs, other running backs in the pass game. So like McCaffrey absolutely can and will get it done, but it could be more as a pass catcher today. I think we're going to get like one of those like 280, 3 touchdown days from Purdy, and it's not going to feel sexy or the exciting pick here. But I like Purdy. I do. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I'm going Purdy. I do love the Dobbs story. I mean, who can't? Especially with how the season started for him too. But yeah, I'm just, as I said, the safe white guy. Go for it.
Yeah, it's safe. Just go with the safe guy here today in this one. And this gives us a week to like really see what Dobbs can do with the full playbook. Maybe next week Jefferson's back. I still believe in Dobbs wholeheartedly for the rest of the season. But yeah, I mean, Purdy's such a good high floor option. He has been all year. So that's where we lean. Thank you, K. Scott. Thank you, DK Mitchell. Thank you, everybody so far that has super chatted. FZ Ware. Your chats do go such a long way. We're now getting the crowd back up here, about 35 of you in here. Love to see it. We're going to continue to mow through the rest of your questions. But Wolfpack, if you enjoy what you're hearing, that simple thumbs up button, it really does help us get out to more people. And certainly some new names this morning. love to see you. Welcome on in. If you do like what you're hearing, we'd love to have you come back for more. Hit that sub button. Be a constant member of the Wolf Pack as we climb towards 4K for our season. We'd love to have you here with us. All righty, Brent, camping out overnight, the 4 a.m. questions. I love to see it, Brent. What can we do for you?
Brent Australia. So he has Michael Thomas, and he's going to have to drop him for one of these. Irwin, Shakir, or Curtis Samuel. I already have Puka, Justin Jefferson, Deontay out this week. I think I'd go Shakir here and drop
only
Mike
be
Thomas.
A one. Deontay. Wait, he does. Does he have Deontay?
So he has Puka and Justin Jefferson who are out. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I was reading this one strangely. Sorry, Brent. That took me a little while.
He doesn't want you to think that he's starting Michael Thomas on a weekly basis.
Okay. You can absolutely drop Michael Thomas as well. Like I don't really care that you have to drop Michael Thomas to get one of these guys. So it's a matter of like any. So first is like is Noah Brown there? Because if Noah Brown's there, I have him head and shoulders above all of these guys. I actually don't hate Irwin. I mean, he's actually weirdly been. I think he has like 4 touchdowns in 5 games without T. Higgins, something like that. I don't hate him, but I would feel the safest here with Khalil Shakir. He's really been coming on 75% or more of the routes, at least 4 to 5 catches in 3 straight weeks now. And he just is a part of that offense, the Bills offense with no Dawson Knox. He's really taken off in their higher usage of 3 wide receiver sets almost exclusively now. He's become a near every down player. So I really like Shakir here. I think of all these options, Irwin's not far off, but of these, I would definitely go Shakir. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, that's what I was leaning first. I'd go. I think it's pretty easy.
I'm updating the rankings too because I don't have I feel good about Shakir. I don't think my ranking of him reflects that I feel like I'd rather have him than Christian Watson. Why do I have Christian? I hate cut Christian Watson yesterday. It felt so freaking good. Oh, it was such a good release. The locker room needed it. I dropped him for.
I don't know though. The only thing though is that you dropped him for Quentin Johnston. I don't think that he's not a big locker room guy myself.
No, I mean maybe he just needs a new culture. If he does nothing this week, I'll drop Quentin Johnson. That's gonna be kind of my rotating spot. I have more faith in somebody playing with Justin Herbert. Figured it out.
So because of the Nico Collins and that situation I'm in where all my entire team's on IR and my bench is just red.
Yeah.
So I dropped Waller today, and then for my second receiver spot, I went with Josh Reynolds over Shakir.
He hasn't done shit in a few weeks though. Like I don't even think he's playing.
Last week he did nothing, but they have a great match against the Chargers today. I feel like the Lions are just going to throw all over that team. That could be.
You're going Reynolds over Shakir? I don't know about that.
Well, I have Daddy Davis. I can't go double receiver 2 3s with Buffalo right now.
No, Brown's not out there?
No.
The
one time I streamed Josh Reynolds this year, he did pretty well for me. So
I really like Josh Reynolds throughout the year, but I would double check his snap rate these last few weeks. I don't even think he's been on the field.
I think he's been hurt I think he was hurt before their bye week, I want to say.
Yeah. Well, check that out for yourself, but I personally would not want Josh Reynolds in my lineup. Not even close. All righty, start one for Brett. I'm going to bump up Tyler Boyd here too with no T. Higgins. Let me just get him up. 2 ahead of Demario Douglas. All right, I appreciate you guys' patience while I update the rankings on the fly with some of these notes that we're getting. All right, so Jamison Crowder does not need to be ranked here with Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel does. I know we got some questions on Curtis Samuel as well. He's going to slide in right at wide receiver 50. Right at 50. I'm putting him ahead of Josh Downs. I don't want to deal with the Josh Downs worry. I mean, Josh Downs has been so freaking good when he's in too, though. So it just last week, I'm getting like the cold sweats.
I feel pretty. I don't think he's the type of guy they're going to run out there.
Who, Josh Downs?
Yeah, if he's like really, really hurt, I don't think.
He did last week, and he did.
Yes, a true scare. Well, I mean, I'm saying like if I don't think he's going to be like a decoy. Like, I mean, he could obviously re-injure himself, but I don't think they're just going to run him out there to just like run. Just cardio for the day. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I guess I'm not going to put Curtis Samuel above Josh Downs, but above like Jamison Williams, maybe. Maybe this is the JMO.
Yeah, I would do JMO. I'm off that train.
Yeah, he does suck. All righty. So yeah, I do like personally. I like Khalil Shakir more than all those options by a decent amount. I do want to just double check where I'm going to slide Irwin in. I don't even know if I have him. I don't have him in my player pool quite yet. So let me add him as well as you. Do you want to get to this next question, CJ, as I add Irwin to my rankings?
Steve Irwin, rest in peace. Another one for Brent. Start one of these. Hopefully he's still awake. Start one of these tight ends. He lost Goddard last week. Chig, Everett, Herb Smith, and maybe no chase with Herb Smith.
I'm in love with Herb Smith this week. I talked about that on Thursday with the truth. Houston gets absolutely demolished by tight ends to a level no other team is getting destroyed at so far this year. So I really do like Herb Smith. He caught a touchdown last week. You got no T. Could see him being a little bit more involved in the game plan. I'm not into Chig as much as I do like Will Levis, and I've saw some stats about Chig against zone and all this
I'm not buying
stuff. I don't buy into that fully. I want to see him get it done. So it comes down to Everett or Herb for me. And with Parham always lingering to steal touchdowns, I lean Herb. I think he could easily find the end zone once, maybe even twice today. I'm going Herb Smith there. What about you?
I'm a huge Everett guy my whole life.
You were born in Everett.
I love Everett's always my streamer. Every time I need a tight end, I always go to him for some reason. Even last week, his one target, he broke like 7 tackles, and then they just never threw him the ball again. But I do like this week with Palmer out and obviously Mike Williams out. I do. You kind of talked me into Herb Smith, but I just personally, I think it's a bias that I'd go Everett then Herb Smith. But if you went Herb Smith, I'd feel fine with it.
I don't know why you're such an Everett guy. Has he had a single good game his life? Never mind this year. He hasn't topped in half PPR leagues. I guess he had 9 and 10, and then he had 3 last week. So he had been entering the week with a little bit of juice.
The whole passing offense they threw the ball like 10 times last week.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the Jets is obviously, but the Jets, the one thing you're supposed to be able to do to them is throw to your tight ends. I'm going Herb. I'm going Herb over Everett. I'm bumping Herb up to my tight end 17 just below Hunter Henry, Logan Thomas. I'm going to bump Njoku below these guys. I do love, if you're desperate for a tight end, Cade Otton's my favorite of all the streamers. But if you missed out on him, I do really like Herb Smith this week. So there you go, Brent.
I think you clicked off it.
You got it?
Toonberg, Howell, Carr, Heineke. 2 is on the bye, and Cousins went down.
I got to go Howell there. Carr plays like 50% of the red zone snaps, I heard, like inside the 10. You can't have a quarterback that's just getting taken off the field during the prime scoring opportunities. Heineke's Heineke. You got to go Howell. Howell's top. He's the quarterback 6 in fantasy right now. He's just not. This isn't even a conversation. It's definitely Sam Howell for me.
Hey, people forget I put him in my preseason sleeper list.
Me too. Yeah, we were all in on Howell. We loved him.
So yeah, I would in that order actually Howell, Carr, Heineke. Although I always love myself some Heineke. I always do love myself Heineke. But.
Yeah, he was my like desperate flex play or quarterback of the week was Heineke. But if you had Howell, you don't have to even think about your desperation play. Howell's good. You got to go Howell there.
Come on, teams. I do like the algorithm though. Need 2 flex spots, full PPR, Dotson, 4, Judy, Dobbs, Spears, and then some garbage on the waiver wire.
I would go. I mean, Ford last week had 20 carries and 5 targets. I know he didn't ultimately get a ton of points off of that. I know it's a tough match against Baltimore, but he's a juicy player. I'm just a fan of him. I'm a fan of the run game. With that type of volume, I got to go Ford, and I'm probably going Dotson. Yeah, back-to-back, really good games. I feel like he's going to be similar to the Gabe Davis experience, though, where it's like no one starts him. Everyone finally trusts him, and he goes for 3 points. Or maybe not even. So I could definitely see that graph for Dotson being in play as the ultimate troll of the year. But I like Dotson there of these other options. I don't like Judy. Dobbs, I don't want anything attached to Jordan Love. Is as good as he's been okay. Spears is certainly just a dart throw, hoping that he breaks one. So yeah, I'm gonna go Dotson and Ford there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Sweet.
Emily Collier, Michael Wilson, or Noah Brown. Gonna be Noah Brown for me right now.
Yeah, Noah Brown for me. I do want to see. I think Emil, this brings up a good question in terms of where Where's Michael Wilson sliding in now that he's fully there? But yeah, I'm going Noah Brown. I just want to double check where I do have Michael Wilson because I do like him this week. Certainly not more than Noah Brown, but yeah, I'm going Noah Brown there. I'm going to double check my rankings real quick though, where I have Wilson as we move to the next one.
Sorry for calling you Emily. Kyle Thunberg, Tampa versus Tennessee, Seattle or Atlanta?
I would go Seattle here, especially with Kyler back for Arizona. That offense could just hit a nice level. Tampa against Tennessee. We already talked about how we love Will Levis today, so not Tampa. And yeah, Seattle's just in a great spot, the most sacked quarterback in the league.
Even though, exactly, Howell puts up points, but gets sacked 1,000 times a game.
Gets sacked a ton. So yeah, I like that one. Seattle can get to the passer.
And then Watson, Love, or Kyler. Let's go with Kyler here.
Yeah, this is where you go, Kyler. Like, I'd love to see him shake off the rust, but when these are your other options, especially Watson at Baltimore this week, they haven't given up, I think, more than 13 points to a single quarterback all year. So yeah, I'm not playing Watson. Jordan Love, no thank you. Like, I guess he's weirdly been okay for fantasy. I don't know how.
He's a good fantasy quarterback. He's garbage.
I don't even get why though, because he doesn't run a ton. Like, I feel like he just like randomly gets a rushing touchdown at the end of a game, or like I don't know where the points come from. Because every time I look,
they're always it's always the second half. They're always down like 20 to 3 entering the second half, and then he throws some garbage at the end of the game.
He just freaking sucks though. Like, he's so bad.
Lex plants some trees. Sup, y'all? Happy Sunday. Irv Smith or John Smith?
I would go Irv. John is really cooking though. This is a good one too. I would probably. I don't know. I really like Irv. Like, it should be John. John should be the easy smash him in. Don't think twice. But I don't know. I like Irv a lot today. What do you think?
I think with Drake London back, I'd probably lean Irv. I mean, Johnny really only needs like 2 or 3 receptions, as we've seen.
Last week, that touchdown last week was awesome.
Touchdown last week. Also shows how great the Patriots are at like implementing good players. But
I know. Seriously, you gotta be kidding
I'd probably let's go with Irv. Let's jump on the Irv. He's gonna maybe I'll throw him in a touchdown parlay as well.
We say it every week, CJ. There's one player that becomes the face of the show. Suddenly, Irv Smith is because
we're gonna fire him up in our dynasty league today.
Yeah, exactly. But no, Irv for us. I actually had that anyways. I just double checked my rankings to be like, am I really that crazy? But yeah, no, we had it anyways. I'm a fan of Irv Smith. Why don't we move to the next one? I have to make sure this rankings update gets through for the people out there.
If anyone wants to ride, you don't have Irv Smith. I'm guessing is around 500 to score a touchdown, so we can do it. Yeah. We can do that to this week.
All righty. And Lex reminded you guys to hit the like button, y'all. Absolutely. Thank you again so much. We have 40 of you here now. You love to see it. Good free way to help us out, though, is that like button. It really does help us continue to grow, get out to more people. Your likes, your shares, retweets, getting the new audience in here, helping them join the best wolf pack there is. Thank you again so much for spending your early Sunday mornings with us. It does seem like we get some pretty good results going early, CJ. So even without the Germany games, I'm game to keep ripping this. I like this.
Yeah, it gives us time to do some of our lineups, put our bets in, get our Sunday ready.
Make sure we can be the best degenerates we can be.
Exactly. No. At the 12:50, did I set all my lineups, even though I've set them like 20 times during the week?
Yeah, exactly.
Get the Sunday scaries. So Lucio, half PPR, start Mixon or Montgomery? You got to go back to Montgomery.
I think so. Mixon, though, he's been playing. He looked great coming out the bye. And we know just how much better, like with a healthy Joe Burrow with an offense that's rolling. They get the Texans as actually a really bad run D. They might have to run the ball more than they typically would want to if Chase is banged up. Higgins is obviously out. I actually like going Mixon here. And as much as I love Montgomery, and I think he's going to have plenty of touchdown chances, I have in my rankings, I did have Montgomery 8, Mixon 9. I'm going to flip-flop those. I'm going to go Mixon 8, Montgomery 9 now. I actually do prefer Mixon. I do.
I'm just thinking of when Montgomery missed that game earlier and came back and had like 30 carries.
Yeah, for 3 touchdowns.
I know they probably feel better about Gibbs now than they did before, but still, they're obsessed with Montgomery.
I think so too. I have a feel like Mixon does blow up for one of those monster.
Especially with their injury situations, maybe they will kind of relax and just.
And Houston's a bad D, a bad run D in particular. They're okay against the pass. They're an amazing pass defense. They're really bad against tight ends. Okay, pretty good against receivers. Bad against running backs. So it seems like with all these injuries, they might try to slow this game down, feed Mixon a bit, let him just kind of churn against a bad run D. I think Mixon's gonna have a nice workload today.
This might be your last week to get the Bengals at good money to win the Super Bowl. By the way, I really like that.
Oh, I saw. Prez, didn't he bet like $20K to win $1 million or something like that on them?
Yeah, I think they're plus 1,600 right now. They're actually above the. They're above the Bills right now.
Really? Which I actually kind of like the Bills then too.
The Bills right now would not be in the playoffs if the season ended today.
That is nuts.
Rushing yard, Rachaad White or Saquon for the flex? Full PPR.
I would go Saquon. I get the Tommy DeVito show. It's scary. It's gross. But, I mean, he sees like 30 touches every time DeVito plays. I think I probably have Saquon. The more I'm talking about him, the more I don't like him. So I probably have him a little too high in my rankings. But at the end of the day, even in these games where he's been playing with Mr. DeVito over there, he's got what in his last few games? 12, 17, 14, 13 and a half PPR. He's been top 15, for 3 straight. It's not great. The ceiling's certainly going to be capped. Dallas is obviously a terrifying matchup too. They might just get completely swallowed. Oh man, yeah, I don't love Saquon. Do I not
like 18 carries for like 50 yards?
50 yards, yeah, maybe less. I'm bumping Saquon down. I can't go into that experience again without at least I got to put him below Pollard, at least on the other side of things there.
Pollard?
Yeah.
This week.
You like Pollard this week?
I need him.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm minus like 7 on the ETR on him. But
I do like him better than Saquon, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I do as well. So I'm bumping Saquon down. I still don't think it's enough to go below Rachaad White, but now it's like 15 and 17, it's a 10 versus 17. So it's close. Rashaad's probably safer. Like, in all honesty, and I don't know that Saquon has a higher ceiling even. I'm bumping Saquon down. The more I talk about him, the more it's like, yeah, this is a bad spot. I'm putting Saquon down below Gibbs at running back 19. So Saquon taking a big fall in my rankings.
The tweets about DeVito are so funny. How he lives at home with his parents and his mom like dinner every night, and he's just like the Italian dream.
Yeah. So I think it was Scott Barrett who tweeted out the Sopranos clip. Did you see that one? Like AJ coming home.
That is hilarious. Lex plant some trees. Hunter Henry or Irv Smith. Full PPR. I love Hunter Henry. I'm going Hunter Henry over Irv.
Yeah, I like Hunter Henry too. These two are right next to each other in my rankings, 16, 17. I go Henry though. He's always gets it done when he becomes like the focal point of the passing attack. He's got touchdowns in all those games. The first 2 weeks of the year, and then this last one.
I may have played him to score a touchdown as well. Plus 47. Denny Jennings, what's up, fellas? Half PPR, Devontae or Javonte? Thanks.
I actually kind of like Javonte here. You got Devontae against the Jets, the worst team for wide receivers, and he actually hasn't had over 10 points in 6 straight weeks now, Devontae Adams. So Javonte, meanwhile, is coming out of 88% of the carries. It's a Buffalo team that's not good against the run, like shockingly bad against the run right now. Javonte looked good, too, the last time he was out there and dominated the work share. So I like Javonte a lot this week. I'm going to go Javonte over Devontae, which is crazy. But
I'm with you. I don't have a lot of confidence in O'Connell against the Jets.
No. We've seen O'Connell sling it to Devontae before. So, like, ultimately, I do think he'll get it together. But this week especially, with that Jets matchup, that's not the spot to try to bet on the bounce back for Devontae. So, yeah, I like Javonte a lot this week. So that's where I'm going.
I'm with you. Giuseppe, good morning, fellas. Do I sled George start? Maybe. Do I start George Kittle or Gabe Davis?
Give me what? Gabe Davis or George Kittle?
Yeah.
I would probably go George Kittle.
this is one of these little graphs where Gabe Davis puts up a goose egg when everyone starts him. No one's going to start him this week, and he's going to go off. Yeah.
He's going to go off, right? Exactly.
But yeah, I'd go Kittle.
Yeah, I'm just getting the rankings updated in. Sorry, Giuseppe, but I'm going Kittle there. They're both boom or bust. I like the matchup for the San Fran passing game, as I've hit on a bunch today. Jags, the ultimate pass funnel. Everybody being back for Kittle makes it a little bit riskier. I mean, Gabe Guts, Denver, they've been dominated by number 2 receivers. Like, I don't know. Maybe it is a Gabe Davis Monday Night Football. Like, he got 0 last week, though. I mean, 0. Like,
it's really tough. Let's go back to Daddy. Let's go. He abused us last week.
Back one more time, please. I'm gonna go Gabe Davis. Yeah, I'm going Gabe Davis. It hurts to say every time because someone's either gonna love you or hate you for it. But I think I can see
he was getting some milk last week. Didn't come back for the week. Came back on Sunday morning.
Exactly.
Giuseppe again. Sutton or DeMario half PPR.
Definitely Sutton. We get a lot of Sutton questions each and every week, and it's hard to I feel like people don't recognize how good Sutton's been throughout this year. He's been really, really solid. The clear number 1 all year, as we kind of speculated this preseason. I just feel good about Sutton, and they're banged up in the secondary there too. So yeah, give me Cortland.
Giuseppe again. Pick 2 of these: Rachaad White, Gibbs, Montgomery, Mitchell, Singletary. Jeez, those first 3 are kind of tough.
Yeah. Oof.
Doing the double running backs in the same team.
I think you got to do the double running. I think you got to just go the first 3. Yeah, you do. You got to double it up. Keaton Mitchell could eventually take somebody's spot there.
No, it's pick 2 of these.
Oh, then yeah, I think you still go. Maybe you go White and then Monty. Then I'd rather have Monty than Gibbs. It's close. White's cooking right now. I know it's not really great on the ground. But given that you get reception points there, Giuseppe, we've got some really solid last few weeks out of him. And Tennessee has actually been the second most generous team to running backs of the last 4 games. Like they whatever, I don't know exactly if there's an injury, what's going on, but looking at Rachaad White's last games, 13, 14, and then 26 points. That's pretty damn good. And the matchup not being scary, the game potentially being a shootout. And he's playing 80% or higher of the snaps every single week. There's very few running backs doing that. So yeah, I feel good about Rachaad White this week. And then it just comes down to which Detroit guy you want to go with. My horses, my bets are aligned to Monty right now. Would it shock anybody though if they, after seeing how damn good Gibbs is, finally when you use him, it could also be 15 touches for Gibbs, only 8 for Monty. He gets like 1 touchdown, maybe gets in there. I feel better about Monty than Gibbs. How if you had one or the other, who would you go, CJ?
Montgomery. They love him. They love him so much.
Yeah. If it was full PPR, we might even consider switching it more. Like that could tilt it in Gibbs' favor. But yeah, we'll go Monty, we'll go Gibbs. We'll go Monty, we'll go White there for you, Giuseppe. And we do have a super chat, so let's jump on in. Captain Quint doubling down on the super chats today. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. He's getting ugly with this one. Sorry, I'll click that one again. There we go.
Shit. Okay.
All right. Now it's
Bobby Woods or Trenton Irwin, full PPR.
Yeah, we're going to the weeds for the super chats.
Would you go with my guy Josh Reynolds here?
No. So again, I will toss out this. If Noah Brown's out there, I would 100% go Noah Brown over either of these guys. If Khalil Shakir's out there, I'd go Khalil Shakir over any of these guys. If this is where we got to go, I was hoping I'd have like a big discrepancy in these guys in my rankings. Robert Woods 50, Trenton Irwin 51. I am plus 15 ECR on both of them or higher.
Yes,
I do want to see what the Irwin. It was the Fantasy Points podcast. I was listening to it this morning, and it was something like Irwin has a touchdown in like 5 of 6 games without T. Higgins, and now you also do have Jamar Chase kind of banged up. I feel like Irwin's getting into the end zone today. I don't know. Just gut call. I think I'm going to go Irwin. And you get to say, like, if you beat your opponent, you had Irwin. Were you there when I beat you with Irwin? Like, I just know. When you're getting into this level of shit, excuse the language, Captain Quint, but I mean, you're in a bad situation. Don't you kind of want, like, the red zone to pop up with, like, this he's got like the flowing white hair, like out the lineup. Like it just, you can just see it classic, like Trent Irwin. Oh man, I'm gonna go Irwin here. I don't know. Robert Woods is just so capped. Like there's nothing there.
Yeah, he's cooked. I'm going Irwin myself. Let's roll.
I mean, he's number 2 receiver for Joe Burrow today in a decent matchup. Like, yeah, let's go Irwin.
May even be the 1B. Never know.
Yeah, and as he says with another super chat, just to emphasize, I give you guys my toughest battles. Yeah.
Thank you, Captain.
This is where the men and the boys are separated. But no, thank you so much, Captain Quint, for your generous support. I do really actually like gut feel okay about Irwin, and I was thinking about tossing him in DFS today. I think he's like 3K, maybe a little bit more. So I'm in. I'm in on Irwin. I'm okay with it. So yeah, let it rip.
Do you want to start ripping? It is 9:10, 9:11.
Sure.
We
What
we
time
don't need to do a hard out at 9:30 because no one cares about this game. But
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I do want to watch it because of our Pats, but I'll rip here, and I'd say by 9:45, I'm going to be out. So if you do want a full in-depth answer, Wolfpack, do consider that super chat. It's a freeway. It's not a freeway. It's the best way to support us because we can get our new equipment and continue to upgrade everything. It is so greatly appreciated. But a freeway is that thumbs up. Over 45 of you here. Thank you again so much for spending your Sunday morning with us. We greatly appreciate it. Please consider hitting that and subbing. A lot of new names out here. You love to see it. Please do consider subscribing to the channel if you like what you hear. All right, Mr. Campanelli needs one flex. Jalen Warren, Quentin Johnson, or Keaton Mitchell. I think I'm going to go Jalen Warren here. He's been really efficient throughout his last few games. I think the workload could continue to bump up. He's just a nice, safe 8 to 15 points. Nothing more, nothing less. Keaton Mitchell does have the electricity there. I can't trust Quentin Johnson right now, though. But I'm going to go Jalen Warren. 2 QB league, Purdy, Dobbs, Kyler. You got to sit one for Denny Jennings. I'm sitting Kyler there. I love all of them. You got 3 top 12 quarterbacks this week for me, Denny Jennings. Personally, I'm sitting Kyler there over Dobbs, but they are neck and neck in my rankings, quarterback 11 versus 12. So it's damn close. If you want to go Kyler, it's totally fine, but I'm going to go Purdy and Dobbs myself. Full PPR for DJ Johnson. We need a running back, a wide receiver, and a flex. So you're obviously going Breece at running back. I think you're going for the flex. Bijan, I know it's questionable these days, but I'm going to go Bijan, and I'm going to go Garrett Wilson for the wide receiver of those other options, DJ. A lot of good players on that team, though, if you're weighing all those starts. Nicola, good to see you. Definitely going to play Mixon and Montgomery. I think that's a great spot. Debating putting Ken Walker, Schultz, which is wild. But honestly, like the matchup's there for Schultz. The production's been there for Schultz. And I get why you're nervous about Walker's usage. I would be too. Outsnapped by Charbonnet in back-to-back weeks. Can you bench CJ? Can you bench Ken Walker for Dalton Schultz? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I know. I do hate the double tights, but Hockenson's such a stud. Yeah, I think you could.
I think you can. I think there's a real ceiling, especially with no Nico Collins. I actually forgot to bump up Dalton Schultz in my rankings. I want to see how high he gets, Nicola, before. I think he's going to be like a top 5. So let me see here. But I think you can, because why? Especially after Walker has been so bad these last few weeks, and it seems like the get right spot. If they get ahead early, they can pound it out with Walker and gets a couple goal line chances. But he could just be breaking down. We got chest injuries, we got quad injuries. It's getting kind of ugly out there. So yeah, Dalton Schultz, I'm gonna bump ahead of Kittle, not ahead of Kincaid or Laporta, the 2 rookies in good matchups. I can't. I mean, Schultz is maybe in a better spot. Yeah, I'm bumping Schultz at tight end 3 today. So I'm going to say Schultz, over Ken Walker. Thank you, Nicola, for a really good question because it made me reevaluate my tight end rankings. I love Schultz today. I'm all in. So yeah, he's going to be that reliable kind of chain moving presence, in my opinion. I do believe we got another super chat. No, that was Captain Quentin. So let me go back to where we just were. Oh, sorry, I lost my place, guys. We were on Nicola. So we had Terry McLaurin, A27 in a PPR league. Tank Dell or Terry McLaurin? I'm going Tank Dell. I'm all in on Tank Dell today. I'm always all in on Tank Dell. So when you take Nico Collins out of the lineup, I'm certainly not going off of him. I've been the biggest Tank Dell stan all year, and I'm not going to change that. Certainly not this week. Mr. Trey Saracinko, great to see you keep the fire content going. Thank you for always joining us, Mr. Trey Saracinko. Mission 14 team QB league, 2 QB league. And Hurts is on box. This is going to be bad. Yeah, it is bad. Oh, God. Zach Wilson or Aiden O'Connell. Ooh. I think I go Zach Wilson. I mean, I don't want Aiden O'Connell against the Jets. Like that's ugly. So in a matchup of ugly quarterbacks, I guess I just go after the better matchup, which is Wilson. You know, I would lean him. Yeah, so we're going Zach Wilson there. Ugly. Tomas from Panama. Great to see you. Buenos dias indeed. What's good morning in Spanish again? What's morning? Is it Buenos dias?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's just Buenos dias.
Good day. Good morning.
Oh, yeah, good day. Good morning. Yeah. All right, what do we got for Tomas? Pick one for stashing strictly. Wilson, Hill, Murray, Chandler, Gainwell. None of these guys are very intriguing stashes. I would say this week, though, Ty Chandler probably makes the most sense. Madison stinks. And so if something like happened to him injury-wise, or just Chandler comes in and has way more juice, he could take that back to lower. I think Jeff Wilson next week would be my preferred play. There's no upside to Lat Murray at this point. Justice Hill is going to get taken over by Keaton Mitchell sooner than later. Gainwell is Gainwell. You know, I think Chandler is probably the best option here. And then maybe next week you pivot to Wilson in case something happens to Mostert. But yeah, I'm leaning Chandler there for you, Tomas. Juan Pena Jr., who for my wide receiver 1, 2, and flex spot. Downs, Cooper, Tyler Lockett, Meyer, Shaheed, Dobbs, Hunt, or Connor. I'm going to get Connor into your flex. I feel really good about Connor. I actually forgot this. This is another one reminded me that I forgot to bump up Connor for the news that he's officially active with no DeMarcado either. So I'm bumping up Connor right now. Either way, I think I like him out of all these options. I'm definitely going Tyler Lockett for one of those receiver spots. Cooper's not in a great spot against Baltimore, but in all honesty, like Myers gets Aiden O'Connell in the Jets. Shaheed does he score a touchdown or not? Then he's nothing. You can't play Hunt, obviously, the receiver spot. I'd like him probably the most of these other options. So I'm just going to go Cooper and then, hope that the talent wins out. He's been a target hog. I think he's averaging over 18 points per game with Watson playing a full game with him. Maybe just hope that rapport gets it done against a really good Ravens defense. It's not a good spot, but these other options just are so unappealing that, yeah, I think you got to go Lockett, Cooper, and then James Conner is how I would be going there. Juan Pena. Nick, start 2, half PPR. Ridley, Rashad White, Gabe Davis. I'm going to go Rashad White and Ridley. San Fran, so bad against wide receivers this year. So, yeah, and then Rashad White, we just talked about 14, 13, 26 points, as high floor as they come right now. Hey, guys, was offered Bijan and Deontay for Monty and D-Hop. Thoughts? I think I prefer the Monty D-Hop side. Like Deontay and D-Hop, similar. I'd probably rather have Monty than Bijan, which is so asinine, but so true. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with what you have there, Damo, and I would rather have Monty and D-Hop. Kareem Hunt or Jerome Ford? I would go Jerome Ford. Follow the volume. 25 opportunities last week. That's really legit for a running back here. Chris Pina, non-PPR, need a Week 10 fill-in at tight end. Irv Smith, Conklin, Musgrave, Meyer. It's Irv Smith. It's Irv Smith week, baby, Chris. So, yeah, we're going Irv Smith there. Morning. People speculating, does Keaton Mitchell, was he the one that super chatted in earlier today? Keaton family ties here for our super chat. Morning, fellas. Do I hop on the train and flex Keaton Mitchell or go safer with Warren? That's the second time. I think it was Campanelli who asked that as well earlier. I mean, it is the upside in the juice is definitely with Keaton Mitchell, the speed and a great run game environment. I still lean towards, I'm going to bump Mitchell up now that he's healthy. I'm going to bump him up ahead of like A.J. Dillon. I don't want anything to do with him. Ahead of Zach Charbonnet with him off the injury report. I'm going to bump Devin Singletary is a feature back today, so he has to get a little bit of a bump up. And James Conner over Najee.
I have a similar question with this that I'm doing this right now with Jalen Warren, Singletary, or Kareem Hunt. And I see them they're literally 1, 2, 3 in your rankings, right?
Yeah. I like Warren. I mean, the Green Bay is a bad run defense. He's been so hyper efficient. I want to like Singletary. I bumped him up a spot, but like he was the feature back, 77% of the touches and snaps last week, and he had 3 points. Like he's not good. It's not a good run game. They've shown the willingness finally to just abandon the run completely and just win on CJ Stroud. So I like Jalen Warren a lot this week. I think I like him more than my ranking suggests to. I'm bumping him ahead of Tyler Algier.
Just shocking he can't fall into the end zone. Like they're in the red zone so much, and they just throw it in the red zone.
Yeah, exactly. I like Warren. I'm going to go Warren there over Keaton Mitchell. Play it safer. Now, if Mitchell does what he did last week again, I think part of it too is he faces Cleveland. Like that's not it's a much tougher matchup than he had last week. And he has the hamstring thing. What that flares up. Like Warren, you're going to get probably 10, maybe 12. Maybe he gets in the end zone and you even get 18. Like he was like a yard away last week from having a monster game, and that we probably wouldn't even be asking about him, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna go Jaylen Warren. So much for a rapid fire, but it's good. I had to adjust the rankings a little bit there. Keaton family ties indeed. Only can start 2 at running back, by the way. Bijan, Ramondre, White, and Javonte. I like Javonte, and I think I like White the most here. I'm gonna bump White ahead of Bijan and even Ken Walker here. Even Aaron Jones, actually. The more I talked about White, the more I'm realizing like he's not great as a runner, but he is so involved as a pass catcher, just so involved in general. And Tennessee, I didn't realize that Tennessee just is not a very scary matchup at all. And I like that game. I think CJ, I know you're making like parlays and bets. I love the over-under of that game. Like 38.5. I think
the Titans.
Titans and Bucks.
Yeah, I do like
that. And I don't know. I feel like I always whiff on like the layup. I'm always like, that's a guarantee. And that one just never ends up actually taking off. I don't know. I just don't see how that game, even if it doesn't take off, doesn't hit 38 points. Like that does not seem like a big ask for an ascending rookie quarterback against a really bad defense. James Conner, a TP, which I'm guessing is Tony Pollard for Anthony Rosberg. You got to go Tony Pollard there. I mean, his best game of the year was against the Giants in week 1. This is a bad defense. They're going to have the game flow in his favor. You got to go Pollard there. And I'm down on Pollard. I'm 6 spots below ECR, but he's still ahead of Conner for me. All righty. PPR, need a tight end. Henry, Irv Smith, or Gerald Everett. I'm going Henry there, Pablo Gomez, but Irv Smith's 1 spot below him. I am a huge fan, but I do go Henry there. You're welcome, DK Mitchell. No doubt. Best of luck. We hope you got it right. Thank you for that super chat as well. Murray or Stroud? I'm going to go Stroud, no doubt, Anthony Rosberg. Trust Ridley or Jay Cook at the flex, asked Philsey. I'm going to go James Cook. He had the Denver matchup. We still don't know what Lenny's status is going to be for Monday night. I think this is James Cook's like last game. It rides out into the sun from here. All righty. Chris Pena, Howell, Dobbs, Geno, Mayfield. I would go Howell and then Dobbs. I don't know how many you need. If you just need one, I would go there. My bad about the full PPR for the quarterback question. No worries, K. Scott. We just had to give you a little shit there. Thumbs up buttons. Everybody's commenting in, but true Wolfpack. 40 of you here. Please do consider that thumbs up. Continue to get us out to more people. That sub button as well as we climb towards 4K. We continue to love having more and more of you here with us. Family functions with Cousins on IR. I now have Will Levis and Howell. I go Howell. Again, the track record's there. He's been really, really solid in pretty much every game but 2 this year. I love Levis's ceiling, but Howell has the ceiling and the floor, in my opinion. So I'm liking Howell there. I know you all aren't IDP guys, but do you all think Chase Young revives his career trajectory across Nick Bosa? Maybe. I can see that. I mean, honestly.
Chase Young's been pretty good this year since he returned.
Yeah. I think, yeah, absolutely. Like, revives his career to the point where he's like, you want to build your franchise around this kid. He's such a freak. Like, I remember there's a while where it was like, if we could redraft this draft, he would go.
I mean, he went too.
He's not that. But I think as a situational pass rusher and even maybe an every down player, when you have Bosa clogging it up, like you're getting this. Yeah, I think absolutely. I think Young won't quite get to what everyone thought he might be at one point, but still, I really do like. He's in the perfect environment to definitely.
The Buckeye fans got robbed. They had Bosa and Young, and Bosa got hurt. Sat out the rest of the season. 2018.
Yeah. DJ Johnson, bye week hell, half PPR, Irwin, Zeke, or Jameson Williams. I'm going to go Irwin. I mean, Trenton Irwin kind of jumping up here. The late. So Irv Smith and Trenton Irwin, the big plays of the day from the fantasy fullback dive here. But yeah, I'm going Irwin there. Thomas Taylor, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Who should I get on defense? Raiders or Seahawks? You have the Eagles. Ooh, that's a really good question. Both of them were in my streaming week 10 defenses clip this week. I do lean Seahawks. I actually have 9 and Raiders 10 here. I do lean the Seahawks. I think they can definitely get after Howell. It's a better offense, but they still turn the ball over, give up big plays to defenses. So I lean him. I lean going that route.
I'm going Raiders. I love the Raiders. Antonio Pierce, all aboard the train.
I mean, he fired him up last week, and we've seen this Raiders team. It's not a good defense. 13-19. Their past 2 games, they can definitely take advantage of the good matchups. CJ, I don't hate that call. Maybe I need to flip-flop these two in my rankings. Antonio Pierce, defensive guy, firing up his boys. Zach Wilson is who they get. 13-19 the last 2, and this is not an offense that is going to do anything scary. I could see Howell has been getting the ball a little bit quicker. I don't think he's taking quite as many sacks these last few weeks. And the Seahawks defense, when they just get plastered for like 38 points against the Ravens last week, they're not a good defense. It's more so the matchup, and I don't think it's quite as – I'm flipping them. I'm going – you helped convince me there, CJ. I'm going Raiders. They take advantage of bad matchups. They're at home. This is a bad matchup. Let's go Raiders. Let's fire them up there. Thank you for the super chat, Thomas. Greatly appreciate it. Alrighty, and back to all the questions. Wolfpack, we got about 5 minutes till kickoff here. I think we can make it through all of these, and we might go a little just because we love you guys. We can maybe go a little over because this Pats game is not one. It's not like the Dolphins Chiefs we rushed out for last week. That's to say the least. But do consider, please, again, that thumbs up button as we get you ready for your Week 10 lineups here. Making sure everything is good to go. All right, Roth Tiberius Kane is where we left off. Because we have the bye week held for DJ Johnson. I said Irwin. And then we got Jameson dart throw. I'm in on that. But, I mean, it could be a Jameson dart throw week. It really could. It's the Chargers, the most points allowed to wide receivers. They just don't trust him at all, though, until I see him actually playing.
The other Lions receiver dart throw.
I don't think so. I don't think it's any of them. It's St. Brown getting 20 targets today. Mark DeSilva, happy football day indeed. Need 2 receivers, Dotson, Flowers, Sutton, or Downs. I'm going to go Sutton and full PPR. I don't hate Flowers. I think half, you get a little bit less boost, but he's going to see 10 targets. They're going to be 2 yards a target, and he's going to probably have 8 catches for 40 yards, and that'll get you there. Dotson is intriguing. I can't trust Downs. I'm worried about the flare-ups. I'm worried about, last week just has me really, really gun-shy on Josh Downs here. So I'd probably go Flowers and Sutton there, Mark DeSilva. Giuseppe Russo, Singletary, Sutton, or Shakir. I would go Sutton there. I'm always been, I guess, maybe more of a Sutton guy, but I think he's really earned it this year, for sure. You were in a competitive eater. What would your nickname be? From Krana Shaw. I'll have to think about that one. Because I'm in the middle of the rapid fire here, Krana, I can't think of a good one. I'd be Karate Krana because I'd chop the food down. I love the question. I will come back with a better answer for you next week, or next time I see you at the show. But competitive eater, what would your name be? That's a phenomenal question. I think about Thursday, but Goff or Lamar. I would still stick with Lamar there, but I get why you're asking it, Krana. Douglas, Irwin, or Judy. I would go Douglas over Judy just slightly. Krana. DJ Johnson, McBride, Meyer, or Irv Smith. I'm going McBride for sure. No Jeff Swaim today, which it should not be news, but it will actually keep McBride locked into an every down role. They'd love to put him in a committee whenever they can. Dennis Stephen L. Happy PR start to Bijan, Montgomery, Olave, or Deontay. So we got to pick 2 of these. Whew, this is tough. I'd go Montgomery, and I would probably go Olave, but I love Deontay today. I really like. I know you don't like the matchup. No Jair Alexander. Rasul Douglas has also been traded away. It's not a bad Green Bay matchup by any means anymore. They're starting a 7th round rookie and I think a guy that's like the lowest grade in PFF right now. So I think Deontay's in a smash spot. He's actually probably ahead of Olave for me this week. What do you think of Deontay versus Olave?
Going with Olave. Although I'm going Olave. Starting to cook. Those unrealized air yards are starting to happen.
Yeah.
They're starting to become realized.
They are. Chronashot, Flex 2, Flowers, Dell, Warren, Addison. I'm going Addison and take Dell, no doubt about it there. Chronashot, we will pray for you. Like, share, subscribe, people, week in and week out. RSA comes through. Thank you so much, Giuseppe. Let's get these guys out there. We really appreciate it. You've been here since the ground floor, Giuseppe, as you continue to rise. So we love having you. Marquise Brown and Gibbs for T. Higgins and White. I prefer Marquise Brown and Gibbs there for sure, Darius Brown. Matt McAniff, good to see you, brother, Beverly legend. Ridley or Addison at flex spot, PPR. Ridley versus Addison, that's a good one. I think I'm sticking with Addison. You know, the clear-cut wide receiver one this week. No Osborne, no return yet of Jefferson. So, yeah, I'm going to ride Addison, just a bit more consistent. Ridley's in a really good matchup. It wouldn't shock me at all. This is like the spot Ridley should smash. They're giving up a ton of points to the 49ers, two outside receivers, as you know as a 49ers fan, McAniff. But I like Addison. I really do. He's just been playing such good ball. And Dobbs, I feel good about him. Noah Brown is underrated. Cowboys should have kept him. I love Noah Brown. I really do, Roth. So I'm with you there. And I think he's a smash play today. I think Noah Brown is in an awesome spot. Are you okay with starting Josh Downs, or should I pivot to Irwin if Chase is out? I'd pivot to Irwin, but we won't know because Josh Downs plays. He's already playing right now. So sorry Z, we missed that one. It's a risk. So I would have said lean for Shakir, Irwin, whatever it might be. Morning, boys. What's up, Lee? Stroud or Kyler? I would definitely go Stroud. Higher floor and higher ceiling there. Y'all are great. Appreciate it. Says Lex, plant some trees. Thank you, Lex. Go plant them trees. Patriots D or Bengals D? Well, this one would be too late, but I would probably have gone Patriots there. Jesse Torres. Good morning, Brian. Happy long weekend Sunday. Oh, it was so nice to get to Portland and enjoy some good food and drink. Absolutely. I started decorating for Christmas. You are you're one of those psychos, huh, Brian?
That's honestly, that disgusts me. My brother's girlfriend did the same in their apartment. I almost threw up.
I hate it. It's disrespectful to the best holiday in the world, and that is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday each and every year. And people that rush Christmas, start playing Christmas music in November. Ugh. I'm not answering your question, Brian. You're one of those. No, I'm just kidding. You gave us an insight into you, and I bashed it, but I can still answer your question. Levis or Kyler coming off IR. This is a tough one, and I would go Kyler, but it's really close. It's very close. I'm a huge fan of Levis. I'm +5 ECR this week on him. But all that to say, I have Kyler 12 and Levis 13, and I'd rather just see what Kyler does in his first game back. But this is a very interesting quarterback week. There's no doubt about that. Dynasty Dumpster Fire. Great to see Dynasty Dumpster Fire out here. That's a great name. Saquon or Hollywood. We talked about it. I kept bumping Saquon down. Now, the thing is, especially in a full PPR league, I think he has like a 50% target share with Tommy DeVito at quarterback because they don't let Tommy DeVito throw. They just dink it down to Saquon. It wouldn't shock me at all, too, if so who do they get this week? It's the Cowboys. That's a really they're not going to put up any points. It's going to be a shutout. So maybe you just go Hollywood. We wide receiver 7 in points per game with Kyler Murray and no D-Hop. Wide receiver 5 in targets per game in that same situation. So yeah, I think I go him.
We do have I got a super chat bottom. Yep.
The Blue Crew. Thank you.
We do have Fitzpatrick saying we forgot about the Canadian Thanksgiving.
Oh yes, true. He already had his Thanksgiving. That's right. I still hate it, but it's a little more justifiable for you, I guess. No, we're just messing with you, Pat. Brian, we love you. All righty. So pick one, PPR, flex. Dell, Singletary, or Najee? Oh, Blue Crew, it's got to be Tank Dell. I mean, it would have been Tank Dell with or without Nico Collins in the lineup, but now no Nico Collins. We could be talking about 30% target share for Tank Dell today. Singletary, I know no Damian Pierce, but come on. I mean, he had that last week, saw all the work he could, was a 77% snap player, and still put up 3 points. Najee has been getting better and better by the week, but Dell is probably 4 tiers above all these guys for me. Right, CJ, am I nuts to think Tank Dell is insanely higher than both Singletary and Najee?
No, that's very normal.
Yeah, okay. It would have been anyways, but especially with no Nico Collins. No doubt about that. All righty, so we left here. Where were we? It was Brian Fitzpatrick. We were bombing him for his Christmas traditions. All right, so it is 9:35. I'll go for 5 more minutes, Wolfpack. I should be able to get through the rest of these in 5 minutes, but in case I don't, Super Chats will definitely get preference. One last plea with 40 of you over in here for that thumbs up button. But I do want to go watch the Pats. I know it's ugly, but it's still the Patriots, and it's one of the rare times they're actually just on prime time and I can watch them. So So yeah, Ronnie Daniel. Good morning, fellas. For the flex PPR, Javonte, Kincaid, or Kirk. I like Javonte there, but Kincaid, man, he's right in that discussion. Top 4 tight end this week. Za, yo, fellas, start one. Kincaid or Hill? I'm going Kincaid. I love the Taysom. Yeah, I've been higher on Taysom each and every week, but Kincaid, such a target hog right now. Kyler Murray, I'm going Kyler Murray over Heineke for sure. And I would go Dobbs over Derek Carr. Za. Chris Pena, non-PPR, need a fill-in. We answered that one earlier, and we're going Irv Smith. Pick one for flex at PPR. DK, Hopkins, Ridley, Dell. I'm going to go Hopkins, but man, Dell is right there. But I'm going to go Hopkins just slightly over Dell. Silence. So Dobbs and Will Levis ahead of Kyler. No, I have Dobbs ahead of Kyler. I have Will Levis right below him. That's my 11, 12, and 13 right in that order. It goes Dobbs, then Kyler, then Will Levis. Zaire Franklin out or in? I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. That's defense. Yeah, maybe check that out for them. Good morning, guys. In half point PPR, do you go Noah Brown or Trent Irwin? Definitely Noah Brown, Pat Sullivan. For me,
he's in.
He's in. There you go. Zaire Franklin's in. How excited are you for 12 Deontay targets? I'm excited for 12 Deontay targets. I'll give that a 9. Actually, you know what, Michael O'Hara? I'm not excited at all because I'm facing Deontay Johnson this week. So I have 0. My scale of excitement is 1 because I know Deontay Johnson's going to put 25 points up on me today. So you should be excited if you have him. Anybody out there that has Deontay Johnson should be excited. I'm not because I'm going to get bent over a barrel and be forced to just take everything he gives me. So that's not going to be fun. All right, start 2 tight ends. Trey McBride, Hockenson, Henry. I'm going with Hockenson and Trey McBride, no doubt there. I love McBride this week, and Hockenson, of course, is the best. All righty, pick PPR, Alexander Madison or Brian Robinson. I'm going to go Robinson. I know Madison should smash. It's Madison, though. I'm not a fan of Madison. So, yeah, I'll go him. I'm just double-checking where I have Deontay ranked. 15, wide receiver 15. That seems to make sense. I might even bump him up to wide receiver 13 behind only Tank Dell, right ahead of Garrett Wilson. I think I'm going to change that up. If Chase is out, do you prefer Boyd or Amari Cooper? I would go Boyd if that's the case. If Boyd's the true wide receiver 1 for Joe Burrow, yeah, fire him up. I have Eagles defense. Who should I get, Seahawks or Raiders? I like Raiders there. Thomas. Yeah, I flipped that after we were breaking down that super chat. Start Kyler with caution. The new Call of Duty just dropped 2 days ago. That's a really great point, actually. Be wary that the Call of Duty game just came out. That's actually, I think, a genuinely decent point, which has to be factored in. Sub gang, hell yeah, Coral. Welcome to the show. Any other new teams or new players out there that enjoy what you're hearing, please do consider subbing. We'd love to have more of you here. Continue to crime and glow that. Wolfpack shares, likes, retweets, all that stuff really does go such a long way. We can't grow without you. We rely on you guys to help us out, so it would be a huge help. Purdy or Burrow? Definitely Burrow. I know the weapons cabinet is banged up, but man, he looks healthy. I'm not messing with that. I'm going to play Burrow. It's Gary, Terry, or Keaton? I got to go Terry. He's been getting like a 23% target share all but 1 week. It's not the best of matchups against the Seahawks, but he can get it done. I'd rather just I got to see what Keaton does before I really go out and trust him, especially in a bad Cleveland matchup here. Demario Douglas or Christian Kirk? See what? A little late for 9:27. You had 3 minutes till kickoff. So we probably didn't get that one. But it was definitely Christian Kirk either way. I hope you went Christian Kirk. No Zay Jones. Just Christian Kirk, even with Zay Jones. Like, Christian Kirk's been really, really good. So I hope you did just Christian Kirk. But we'll see. Start 1, Ayuk, Montgomery, Dell. Oof, good options, A&J Films. This is one where scoring would help because Montgomery and half in standards my play. Ayuk would be my play otherwise. Thank you, family, fun functions, and everybody else out there. Have to play 2 of them. Addison, Demario Douglas, Christian Kirk. I'm going Addison, Christian Kirk, Siwata. Sutton or Singletary, flex. Sutton for sure. Hey, guys, would you start Cortland Sutton or Amari Cooper? Sutton for me, for sure. And I'd go Madison over Cooper as well. Should I start Jaden Reed, Juju, or Khalil Shakir? I would go Khalil Shakir there. Ralphie, not Ralph. Morning, fellas. Need to sit one. D. Johnson, Ridley, A. Cooper, Tank Dell, PPR. I would sit Cooper here. Yoso Tony. Ferguson or McBride? I'm going to go McBride today. Simplistic grace. Chris Pena. I don't have time for a trade question right now. Sorry. And then we got I'm Canadian. We already had our Thanksgiving. There we go. Wide receiver Tank Dell. or A. Cooper. I'd go Tank Dell way over Amari Cooper for sure. Super chat from Eli. Let's jump on into that one. We got Eli. Thank you so much for that. No Brown or D Adams. This is one where I got to go Devontae. I know it's like, the bad matchup of the Jets. He's got Aiden O'Connell. Nothing seems right there. So could you go Noah Brown over him? Sure. Personally, fantasy locker room vibes, whatever you want to call it, I can't bench Adams for Noah Brown. There's still a world where Adams wants to take the new, young, exciting corner to the tool shed and destroys him. So yeah, I would definitely go there for sure. All righty. Bro, you skipped my question.
I'm trying to find it. I just saw the sub thing, but I don't see a question. I just saw that he subbed. So
Coral, get your question back in there. We saw your sub comment. Trust me, we don't skip questions. I don't know if they got lost by YouTube or what happened, but no, we go through them all. So feel free to re-ask it. And then K Quick saying they straight deleted mine. I don't even know how to delete questions.
No, the only I'd banned a few users that were like, it was like an NFL scam.
Yeah, like stream it here. Okay. Feel free to ask your questions again, guys. We'll keep our eyes out for them, but we don't skip them. There's no way. I don't know what happened to it, but we don't delete questions or like skip. So feel free to ask again.
Hate your question.
Yeah, give me your questions. I'll look for it and I'll go. Another 3 minutes extra here. Just to make sure, Coral, you subbed and we want to appease our subs. So feel free to ask it again, and I'll go 3 more minutes extra here. Who's your Divo? 4-5 team, 12-team PPR, Goff, Murray, Bark, JT, Connor. I can't. Who's your? That's you got to ask your any trade suggestions for this team. Come on, if you have a specific thing in mind, just let me know. But no, not in a rapid fire. I can't analyze all that. Monty or Bijan, PPR. I would definitely go Monty over Bijan there. Tucker. Start Deontay Johnson or James Cook. I would go I'd go Deontay, Jose. And then is Justin Tucker worth dropping? Yeah, you don't need to never carry two kickers. And Fatty Mateo, start 2, full PPR. D-Hop, Dell, DK, Hollywood, or Garrett. Definitely D-Hop and definitely Tank Dell, Fatty Mateo would be my top 2. I don't see anything from K Quicks or Coral, so I guess we're going to call it quits there. Apologize, gentlemen. We definitely didn't delete questions, so I don't know what happened, if your internet bombed out or maybe ours bombed out and didn't show up. I have no idea, but I scanned through. I didn't see any CJay.
The only questions I deleted were to a few spam comments. Well, Coral, stop saying I put it and just put it.
Stop saying I put it. Just fucking write it. Like, just tell us what your question was. Like, it's not popping up. All right, I'm done. Like, I'm logging out. Wolfpack. Again, if you can't just rewrite your freaking question because it's not showing up, like, then I'm not going to answer it. Just rewrite the question if it's that hard.
We're not seeing it.
Hey, quick. That's what we're saying is we're not seeing the questions. So no one else is seeing it. We're not deleting questions. If you can't just take the 2 seconds to rewrite it, I'm not going to wait my Sunday here and waiting for you to retype it. Like,
okay, we got Corals. All
right, thank you. Like, my God. London, Watson, or Downs. I mean, let's be real here. London, Watson, or Downs. I got to go London there. I really like 23.5% target share his last 5 games. Let's see what he does in a full game with Heineke. Coral, we got yours at least now. Pick one to start. K9, Tank, or Javonte. I'm going Tank Dell there. No doubt about it, especially in the full PPR. No Nico Collins, probably getting 28% target share. Like, this is a great spot for him. All good options there. Javonte would be my next one up. But yeah, that's where I lean. So sweet. I'm glad you got that one in. Hopefully you stay as a sub. Like I said, we don't skip questions. We don't delete questions. I don't know why it didn't pop up, but in the time it took you to complain about it, you could have probably just rewrote the question. But hopefully you stay around. We'll see. I'm signing off though. Best of luck there. Giuseppe, I would go Gino. You don't need Stafford there. Who knows if he's going to play. Best of luck. All my rankings are updated and live at rotostreetjournal.com. All our other content you can find there. Should be going live as well at 7:30 tonight with Truth to recap all this action that we have today. Best of luck, Wolfpack. I hope you get what you need. One last plea for that thumbs up button on your way out, the sub on the way out if you enjoyed what you hear. Thanks again to all the new people in here. Best of luck. Thank you, Campanelli, for always moderating. The world of the sheep guys, be the